Hi, Stephen from Seattle. So, hi everyone, welcome to the Sunday night talk. And before I start, hi Paul. There are some links beneath. Thank you for the donations. I've received a few cups of coffee, which is really nice. Yeah, so if you fancy donating a couple of dollars or a pound or something towards this talk, I'd be really grateful. What else we got here? Yeah, and if you, hi Jim, hi Dolly. Also, Wednesday nights I do a live drop-in chat group, and that's on Patreon. There's also a link to private sessions here. Hi Keel, hi Will. Private sessions, if you want a private session with me, you can just go there. Hi Claudia. Talks and events, and my next talk is in London on, I think, the 14th and 15th of April. Link to my book and my Facebook. And I think that's it. So, what you're looking for is sitting in a chair watching this video. That's it. There's nothing here that has anything else but that. There's nothing here that has any different from what is sitting there on a chair or a bed. Hi, Anne. Hi, Nina. There's nothing. Because there's a body speaking here, it doesn't mean that this body has realized something. The only thing that's been realized, for want of a better word, is that there was nobody ever here as a person. There was an appearance in the body of separation that thought it was a person and believed all its stories and believed it had a life and related to everything separately. I'm here, they're there, I'm here, that's there, I'm relating to that, and this affects me. Now, that was never a person, that was an appearance. That was something that just seemed to happen. And then that was not longer there, and nothing got this body to that point. There was no practice, there was no reason, there was no purpose for it. It was just a different appearance. So the sense of separation is looking for that appearance of not being there, but it won't ever know that. It won't ever know what that's like because it just won't be there to know it. When it's not there, all that's left is just sitting in a chair talking, drinking tea, seeing people on the stream. That's all that's left. It's the most simple thing. Nobody ever arrives at what is already happening. What is already happening is everything. But there's this appearance in this that thinks there's something to find in this, some sort of eternal peace or enlightenment or bliss or something that will make everything better for the appearance called me. And this appearance is not a me at all. It calls itself me, labels itself me, has this whole story around itself, me and my life, me and my story. But it's just what's happening. And it makes a story about that even, but I want to know what that is. I want to get to this point where I know what it is for everything to be happening, but you can never know that. You can't get any closer to what is happening. But what is happening has actually, there's no space for this person here. It can't be here because there's nothing in it for it. So it goes on to the next thing. It's always looking for something for itself and comes up with all these stories about itself. Hi, Joe. Oh, thank you. You too. Mm. There's nothing here for the sense of self to hold on to. What would it hold on to? The desk, the air, sitting on a chair? It holds on to its stories about itself. It's absolutely self-centered, absolutely centric in this appearance. It's like this appearance has contracted down into this one perspective that seems to look out of the eyes and calls itself me. But this me can't actually find itself. It can't find itself because it's not really there. Hi, Synchronizador. Hi, Kim. Synchronizador. Let's just make that a bit bigger. My poor eyes. What about knowing? Knowing it's always present, it's permanent, never stop. Never stops. Knowing it's always present. Well, the sense of self feels like it knows it's there. But where can you find that knowing? Where can you find this sense of separation? It literally is an appearance. And it never seems to stop, but you'll find through the day it actually isn't there all the time. But it comes up, it reacts to things. Comes up, me and my story. That person did that to me. That person is saying this. I'm not this, I'm not that. I want my life to be better. I want to be somebody. I want to be something. I need to have all these things in place so I can shine. I can be somebody. I can be okay. I can be acceptable and loved and all these things that it makes up about itself. But it's not there. It's just an appearance. The appearance is there, but there's no person there. Because when you look into it and you try to look for it, it's not there. And then there's the whole practice of what's it called? Self-inquiry. It's me looking for me, but it's still the same me appearance. It's always wanting something. It's always wanting to be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be loved, to be accepted. But where is this? Where is this person? Hi, Edwin. The person's no different from the desk. It's just popping into the existence out of nothing. And yet it has the illusion that it's always been there. And it feels solid and real. Feels solid and real, but you can't find that solidity or that realness. Hi, Ella. There is no man in the man. There is no dog in the dog. No, there's nobody in anything. There's nobody here. This is a whole world of bodies, but there's nobody here. Just the appearance of, and the appearance only appears in that particular body. Apparently. Dogs are great, aren't they? Dogs, we love dogs and cats and animals because there's nobody in them. There's a freedom there. And the freedom is just for it to be as it is. No self-consciousness there. should I be doing this or should I be doing that? I shouldn't have said that. They definitely shouldn't have said that about me. So the illusion is also that there's a me in here, then there's a me in that person. But all there is what is. And the person, the appearance of apparent person, is also what is. Everything is just what is. And it is all there is. There's nothing else here. Synchronize it all. Can what is be known? No. No. What is there to know? That would be a thing. That would be a separate concept or idea that something is known. It'd have to find something in this appearance that is known. But there's nothing here to be known. And this whole spiritual doctrine of enlightenment gives this false impression that there is this thing that can be known and that I will know it and I will be enlightened. There's all these gurus who are just sitting there promising all these enlightenment to everybody. I have it and I'm going to show you how to get it. When there is no personal enlightenment, there's only everything appearing. And what everything appearing is an absolute amazing. But it's never enough, is it? It's like we've got to find some mystery nirvana when this is the nirvana, but there's nothing in it for anybody. It's the end of anybody. Can what is know itself? It doesn't have a self. There is no self. Self is separation. What this is beyond description. The person can only see something as personal, so it can imagine that this knows itself personally, but it can only imagine things in that personal way. Stephen, thoughts, ideas, insights arise and fall away. But for quite a while now, there appears to be a nudge to put these to paper. What's the point? But I do feel a strong passion to communicate this. Yeah. It's actually great to be able to communicate this on paper or vlogs or whatever. It's just, it's amazing what that can appear when you do that. There's no point to it at all. But it is a wonder to do that. You know, to write or speak, if there's a passion to do that, then yeah, that's great. Why not? There's no reason not to, and there's no reason to. It's just this life is as it is, and if that find that pen going to that paper, then that's what happens. Joe, nothing can be known. No, knowing is something. Who is communicating? Nobody. Communicating is happening. Sitting on a chair is happening. Words are happening. You could say, who is making the computer work? The body is no different from the computer. It's a machine. It's an amazing machine. The computer's an amazing machine. This body and the brain and everything is an amazing machine. This whole appearance is amazing. But it's not for anybody. But the sense of self can never see that because it only operates from the personal. Ella, it just happens like anything else. Yes. Everything just happens. That's it. Synchronized door. Is there something really happening? Yeah, apparently there is, yeah. Sitting on the chair is apparently happening, but it can change any moment. You know, the brain will forget it's sitting on a chair, or they'll be going to the kitchen and doing something else, or so that's always happening, isn't it? But what that is cannot be described or known, because knowing would be part of the happening. It's apparently real, but it's also unreal, because it's got has no real solidity to it. It's never steady. There's no state to this. It's beyond state. It's too immediate. It's too much in free fall to pin it down as being something. And everything seems known, pinned down with words, but nothing is really known. Everything appears like magic. Yeah, it does, exactly. I mean, where is this coming from? Floor, air, words, hands? Where's it coming from? The mind goes, well, it came from when I was born and then I grew up and da 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 da. It puts it in this kind of rather kind of safe little package. And this is definitely a very unsafe, unpackaged nothing. Ella, it seems to be happening, but is not relevant. No, it is really amazing. Yeah, totally amazing. And when, you know, when they're speaking about it or communicating about it or writing about it, there is an amazement there. It's just like, wow, that's wild. There's a wildness. Can't be thought about. And emptiness is beautiful. Yeah. It's empty and full. It's real and unreal. It's everything and nothing. It's absolutely beyond description. But the sense of self is this appearance, it's aliveness, having an appearance of thinking there's something else. There's something else I need to find. I need to find an end to myself. I need to find that end. And it just doesn't realize that it is the aliveness, but it can never realize that because it's contracted down into a unexplainable apparent reality of itself. Ella, me arises with its own world. Yeah, it's an appearance of a fantasy world, and it's energetic in appearance. Stephen, nothing appearing in form, and none of it is permanent. No, nothing. It's absolute freefall. Where is there any permanence in this? The only thing that has the illusion of permanence is a sense of self. But it's an illusory permanence. It's not really, it's absolutely in free fall also, because you just can't get hold of it. Can't get hold of anything. Joe, everything's not what you think it is. No. This is like it's a bit like a dream world, really. There's nothing tangible in it. Just goes on. Just goes on its own. Just appearing as it is. Nothing happening. Just happenings happening. Nothing's really happening. And even the human, the human carries on in it with its hobbies and its likes and dislikes, and that's just an absolute free fall. And it is always an absolute free fall. So there's something there that says, no, it's not, because I'm this or I'm that. And it seems like no beginning and no end, just thin air. Yeah, it's absolutely intangible. It seems like a solid desk. It definitely feels like a solid desk. But what's happening? There's hands touching it. The whole thing is just totally a mystery. But I want that, says the me. I want that. Sorry, she knows. Hair. I want that. I want to know that. I want that. It is that. The sense of self is that, but also it's not. It's not a me. It's not real. It's not freedom. It's freedom appearing as not freedom. That's what's being pointed to. Is that sense of being somebody is not true. Seems like it, Joe, yeah. Snowball effect, he says. It's all just an appearance. Seems like we've gone through life and we've changed and grown and this and that and got more experience and have healed some things and got some things wrong, but none of that happened to anybody. It just apparently happened. Life can appear as the illusion of time, which is amazing. It's amazing the way it all seems to hold together. Absolutely incredible. Nothing is going to give you freedom. Nothing. Nothing's going to give this appearance of somebody freedom. It is the freedom. Appearing is not freedom. There's nothing it can do about it. It's hopeless. It's hopeless for that apparent person. But what is revealed is that what can be revealed, there's a possibility that that illusion can be revealed all of a sudden. And in that moment, there's a possibility of the whole house of cards just falling down. Hey, Donnie, would you say we really just illusional appearances in nothingness that don't really have any substance at all? Yeah, nothing has any real substance at all. Not in reality, no. All this is very kind of, it's just, everything is just apparently so, because nothing stays as it is. It just doesn't stay as it is. It's constantly moving and changing all the time. It's an absolute freedom. just changing and moving, and the sense of self is part of that appearance. But it's not an appearance in time. It just feels like it to that one. And it has no substance. Try and find any substance in it. You won't be able to. It'll just feel like a contracted sense of separation. Paul, can there be a gradual revealing of this? Yes. Yes, there can. Yeah. Hi, Alexandra. Yeah, because there can be this toing and froing going on. It's just like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, yeah. And at the moment, it's really obvious. And then it can come up again and go, no, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just that it seems to be back. And then it can be revealed again. And then, at some point it might not ever come back again. And I see this in people I speak to. I see that this sense of self is slowly being revealed for what it is. And then it comes back, and then it goes, and it comes back. And there really is no halfway house between it. It's either the apparent reality of being someone, or the apparent reality of just nobody. Both are apparent. Both are utterly in free fall. Well, I felt like this today, bonkers. Yeah. It can appear really crazy sometimes. This appearance of self is really stressful on the body, especially when it's coming and going rapidly. It's really, really stressful on the system. Tiring. Stephen, in partnership with male, female, can it work when one is not at all familiar with this communication? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Sure, why not? Because there is no, I mean, it could be tricky, it could be tricky, but if it works, it works. But there's no rules to that because there's nobody there anyway in that relationship. But it could cause a fight, or it could be brilliant. Who knows? It could be anyway. There's no rules to that. I know people in relationship who are not people anymore, and it seems okay. Didn't really change anything. Donnie, yes, 1 minute I feel real, and then I realize I don't really exist. Lol. Yeah, 1 minute it's there, 1 minute it's not. Then it's there again, then it's not. Seems to happen a lot in this message. And it happened here too. One guy I used to talk to, he completely dropped away all of a sudden, and it was the most hilarious thing for him. He was just like, "Oh my God, how was this not obvious before? It's just so obvious. This is the most obvious thing, and yet it's all being hyped up into some sort of amazing personal experience called enlightenment or awakening or something. It's the most obvious thing that can't be communicated." what this is can't be communicated because it is just what is. But the illusion of self can definitely be communicated about. It's healing, said Joe. In a sense, yeah, when there is no, when that burden of feeling like a person is not there, it can be definitely very good for the system, for sure. You know, the system's way more relaxed. It doesn't have this tense kind of neurotic drive anymore. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be situations that are difficult. Absolutely not. But there's that just happens on its own. It doesn't really stick to anything. There's nothing to claim those situations as being me. And look at me, I've failed, or I've gone backwards. That's a common one, isn't it? I've lost it, I've gone backwards. And none of that is true, because the whole thing is exactly how it is. It can't be any other way. This is all there is. This is all there is. This is it. And there's nothing, there's no secret hiding in it. There's no secret hiding in it. It looks for some sort of secret illumination or something that's hiding in it, but it's not. It's not here. It's just already here as everything. Keel. What is can be so tiring in this being and being. Oh, that's a question. What is can be so tiring in this being and being. Me giving its all to survive. Yes, yes, yes. It appears like a battle. But only when the me is appearing again, then it feels like a battle, because it feels like, damn, I lost it. And then it's struggling in its little world, struggling. So it can be very tiring, yeah, for sure. CDD, hey. I might have to research what it is in the brain that blocks the obvious. It's not in the brain. It's an appearance. It's aliveness appearing as a contracted sense of separation. I don't know. It could be in the brain. I don't know. I never really did any science thing on it. Just only goes from what can be spoken of here, really. You know, what's spoken of here is that there was an appearance once upon a time of a person called Lisa, who thought she was a real person with a real life and struggled with everything. Stephen, the person thinks that what is going to be bored and all that. Funny, everything is intensely alive with the real and unreal. Yeah, well, what is happening is so boring for the me. It's like, this can't be it. It can't be. It must be some sort of special something for me. There's nothing here for a sense of self, because a sense of self has an innate searching mechanism that goes on, and it's constant. It can't stop. It can't stop searching. So there's nothing in it for it here, because you can't search for anything here. There's nothing to find here. The sense of self is literally a seeking energy, separation, seeking for home again. Alexandra, is liberation a seeing that all there is this? In a sense, yes. It's not really a seeing. It's more like it's more, I could explain it more like it's obvious that this person that was there was never a person. It was never really a person living there. So there's no liberation as such. It's just the end of being somebody. So nobody becomes liberated. It's actually really horrendously ordinary, but that would only be for the me. It's so ordinary, but it's also extraordinary because it's a mystery to what this is, and it just is obviously obviously that. Alexandra, it is known something seems to get very clear liberation. Yeah, it's clear that there is nobody here. I don't mean in this body, I mean anywhere. Anywhere. There is only freedom. I wouldn't say that's known. It just is. It just is. Because knowing, I'd have to go to some sort of knowing thing happening in the brain, and that doesn't need to be there. It's like saying, I need to know that this is a computer. I don't need to know it's a computer. It's obviously a computer. And do you feel like you are floating a bit? No, no, not really. No, I don't really know. There's really no sense of being somebody who is located, but that doesn't really feel like anything. Alexandra, is it difficult to pretend to be Lisa while relating to other people? No, not at all. It's just talking happens, and I can talk about all kinds of nonsense. That's just the character relating to other people. No, there's no need to pretend to be a person. There's just spontaneous relating happening. I certainly don't talk about non-duality to people who, who are not with this message. No need to. No, not at all. Energy, says Joe. Yeah, it's all energy. It's all energy. All of it. Mysterious energy. Donnie, for the me here, it feels like I have to surrender or give something to get this. But the realization is that the me isn't even there. Yes, it's not even really there. It's an appearance. It's just a happening. Because it's the me that wants to give up or surrender in the hopes of getting something, but there's nothing to get. This is actually, the end of the me is actually the ungetting of anything. It's the end of getting anything. It's the end of liberation, freedom, enlightenment, or anything personal. The sense of self could see what I'm talking about, it'd be horrified. Because there's nothing to acknowledge it anymore. There's nothing, no acknowledgement in this for it. This doesn't give a damn, because this is me as well. This is the me appearing. And why do we feel things in the body even though not a person? Because that's the way the body is. It's like a dog will still have feelings, it'll feel fear, it'll feel loss, it'll feel cold, hungry. But there's nobody in that dog. There's no separate person in that dog. And the body just feels what the body feels. That's just the way it is. And it's not the person who's feeling it, actually. When you touch, your skin, it's not the person that's feeling that, it's the body. It's not we who are feeling it. It's the body feeling it. When those emotions arise, It's not me who feels them. It's it's just felt. But the me will say they're my emotions and I'm feeling them. And now I need to escape them or judge them or something. Something else. It judge them in some way, make up a big story about itself. Alexandra, liberation, there is a sense that it is obvious that the person never existed, yet it could not have happened before, right? No. No, could never have happened before. No, when there was this, oh, thank you, JC. When there was, when that illusion is really just there, that cannot be seen. It cannot see outside of its parameters. It's literally a one-pointed self, and everything goes around it. Everything is from that point. Oh, thanks. You make me embarrassed now. Ella, there's nobody in the movie. Oh, no, there's not. It's like watching a movie. You know, when you watch a movie, there's nobody in that movie. It's literally light on a screen with things moving, but there's nobody actually in the movie. And this is the same. This is like a movie, but there's nobody in the movie. Stephen, our true being is not in the body. The body is in our true being. The body is in our true being. You could say that there is only being, but there is no being as a thing. There is no separate being. There is only being. This is being. This is appearing. This is happening. Hi, Richard. It's said that there is no cause and effect. There is nothing else to cause this and nothing else for this to affect. Cause and effect is a story. Hi, Andrea. Cause and effect is a story. Cause and effect apparently happens, but it's not actually caused by anybody. You know, if I drop the glass, it's going to hit the floor, more than likely. And you could say that my hand let go of the glass to make that happen. But then again, what made the hand go to the glass in the first place and what made that happen before that? You know, it's just the way it seems to appear. This is what apparently happens, but there's no reason for it. There's nothing causing it to happen. Me loves a reason for everything. It loves a reason for this to be here. But it can't be found. And they're looking for a reason and trying to work it out actually covers over the aliveness, even though, ironically, it is the aliveness appearing as somebody trying to reason it out. It's so immediate. Impossible. CDD. For so long I have taken things personally, but I can understand how the emotional pain was simply felt by the body. My me just thought it was about me. Yes, totally. That sense of self just claims everything. And because it's contracted in the body, It's not contracted in the plant or the cup of tea. It's contracted in the body. So therefore, it seems to come to the conclusion that this is my body. This is my body. These are my feelings. These are my thoughts. I don't like those thoughts. Or those are good thoughts. I have those thoughts. Or it just, it claims this appearance as its own in a choosy kind of way. Yeah, my me just thought it was about me. Yeah. Emotional pain can happen. If someone you love dies or is sick, it's going to cause emotional pain in the human. That's the way it is. I saw this heartbreaking video last week of a cow mooing and chasing after its calf, which was put in a cage on the back of a truck, and they were taking the calf away. The cow was mooing and crying and chasing after its calf because that is the mechanism of the cow. The human is no different from that. The human responds the way the human responds. But the sense of self claims that that's my response. And because the sense of self is always looking for some sort of perfection or completion or an end or something, it judges every appearance in accordance with that desire for wholeness. Stephen, we are only being. The body appears in being, not separate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The body is just part of the appearance. But because the sense of self appears in the body, it thinks that there is something in that body that is also a separate person. So it separates everything out. The sense of person can only see in the appearance of separation, in the illusion of separation. It's an illusion of separation. It's not actually separate at all. There is no separation in this life. Everything is the one thing. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, it's just a language thing, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Bella, everything appears all at once. It really does. And yet nothing is still. Its appearance is never still in its appearance. But it's empty. It's empty of anybody. Joe, Shakespeare said, nothing's good or bad, only thinking makes it so. Uh, trying to wrap my head around that. Only thinking makes it so. I don't know. I don't know. No, there's nothing in this reality. There is nothing good or bad. No, but also the human naturally reacts to. The human has responses to certain appearances, and that's totally natural. If it sees somebody being hurt, it's going to have a response to that, and normally the response is compassion. Normally, yes, reasoning, says Ella. Yeah, well, reasoning happens. Responses to things happen, but they're not happening to anybody. They are free of somebody. This appearance is already free of somebody. The me appearing is already this free of anybody. Me is not doing me. Aliveness is doing me. Even though there's all this resistance to it, and no, I'm still me and I'm doing it, and me. But nobody's doing that. That appearance itself is totally alive, but it's illusory. And also in this appearance, there's somebody sitting here saying it's illusory. Yeah, so funny not. Yeah, it's not funny when it's not funny. CDD. My first memory, maybe 3 years old, of when my separation began is when my brother and I were reprimanded for wandering too far off. It was a shocking experience. Yeah, yeah. Actually, that story is the similar one here. It was about 3 years old when I was reprimanded. Actually made fun of. Actually made fun of, as if I was doing something wrong, and there was such a shock in the body, and everything changed from that point. There was no longer that just what's happening. Suddenly, it was like it's happening to me. Joe, thinking is the biggest addiction. Keel, me is the biggest addiction. Yeah. Thinking's not an addiction. Thinking is just what's happening. There's no problem in thinking. Thinking's just like, so what? So what? There's thinking happening. It's when me gets hold of the thinking, claiming the thinking as it's me thinking, I'm having these thoughts. And then it judges itself according to those thoughts. Me and my life, me and my thoughts, me and my relationships. Everything is absolutely centered around this. Addiction is happening too. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Me is a wisp of smoke. Yeah, will-o'-the-wisp. Not actually there. Try not to get addicted. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. There's addiction happens. You say, no, I'm not going to have that cigarette. And the hand's going out, taking the cigarette. I really don't want this cigarette. Yeah. This body's addicted to tea. Addiction to tea happens. It's just what happens. Whatever happens to the body is just what's happening. It's not happening to anybody. It's just the claiming it's happening to me. Stephen, this me was in AA, another process. Yeah, yeah. And I've found that people in this message who are in AA or have been in AA, it eventually finishes for them. AA is very helpful, I think, for people who really want to get off alcohol, and it helps a lot of people. Helps a lot of people get off alcohol. But I find in this message that people in AA eventually can't listen to the stories anymore. It's like it sort of just comes to an end for them because there's no longer a process happening. And that sense of somebody in a process drops, that sense of a seeker starts to drop, and those stories are actually not helpful anymore. Thomas, could you try to describe this without no one? Without no one. Yeah, it's sitting on a chair speaking into a camera. Isn't that awful? It's sitting on a chair, speaking at a screen, reading words. That's it. That's it. And hope you're getting lots of cups of coffee bought. Yeah, a few. Thank you, Anne. Few. And I'm really grateful for those who do, donate a couple of quid here and there. It really helps me out. Really does, with the internet and website and all that. Stephen, yes, I can even go, even I can't go there anymore. Yeah, that's what seems to happen. Yeah. And I hear this a lot. Yeah. I speak to quite a few ex-AAs and a few current AAs, and I hear this thing about the process is just gone, and it's kind of becomes meaningless for them. But going to AA happens, you know. It does help people get off that addiction. It seems to, anyway. And yeah, you deserve some contributions. Oh, thank you, Anne. If I was rich, I wouldn't ask for contributions. I would just happily do this. Well, I happily do it anyway. I love doing these talks. I love it. And if anybody wants me to come and speak anywhere, if they can make sure there's like, enough people to cover my expenses, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that. Because this is my non-subject. After that, it's science fiction and cryptocurrency. Stephen, sorry, yes, I can't even go there anymore. I couldn't share this communication there. No. And I hear that a lot too. It doesn't gel well with the 12 steps, does it? Because 12 steps really is very in process, and that's the way it seems to work for a lot of people. But this message obliterates it. Yeah. Joe, it's not what you think it is. Richard, I really enjoyed your book. Thank you for sharing. Oh, thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. Dana. Paul Hederman comes from AA, if you know about him. Yeah, I do. I do through my editor, because my editor is writing, editing Paul Hederman's book too. And but I didn't know he was in AA. There's also Wayne Lickerman as well, who was also, I think, in AA. And I got your book for my birthday. It's fab. Oh, that's nice. Was it your birthday? Well, happy belated birthday, Anne. Okay, I have a few minutes left. This went really quick, as usual, but it felt quicker tonight. TDD. Did you say last week that the me can get totally fed up with itself and that can lead to its dropping away? No, I definitely didn't say that. That can be the appeal. Well, what happens is the self gets totally fed up of itself and it leads it to seek. There's something that's feels wrong with it. Some kind of acknowledgement that there's something wrong here. There's a feeling of loss. There's a feeling of something wrong. It's like there's a sense that there is something else, that there's something wider, there's something complete or whole. And the sense of separation can become so contracted that it can lead people towards teachings, and then maybe eventually to non-duality, or wherever it goes, really. Hi, Steve. Joe. Funny. Nothing leads to the sense of self dropping away, because there is no real cause and effect. It's just the way it happens. There's always that potential, though. I see it all the time now. It's amazing. It's amazing. CDD. Oh, okay. I think my me is tired of its contraction. Yeah, well, yeah, the me is always tired of its contraction. The me is always fed up with itself. So it does things like tries to make itself feel better. It tries to complete itself by adding apparent things to itself, like a better house or a bigger car or a more enlightened pose. Or it just tries to add to itself to make itself feel better because it lives in this permanent state of dissatisfaction and contraction. Thomas, the vertigo fear for this without anyone is, from my point of view, from me. Vertigo fear for this without anyone is, from my point of view, from me. I don't really understand. Vertigo fear for this. Yeah, in this appearance, there can be a sense of this from the person, from the sense of self perspective somehow. There's something, it can be like a glimpse can happen, and there's any sense of self that comes in, it can really fear it because it's the end of it. Stephen, the me cannot stop seeking. No, seeking and me are the same thing, same mechanism. Can't have one without the other. They're the same thing. Thank you, CDD. And I appreciate everybody being here. Otherwise, I'd just sit here and just pipe up with something occasionally. I love the interaction. I love it. Love it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. And, oh, thanks, Donnie. Oh, thank you. Well, I'll see you on Wednesday. Well, I'll hear you on Wednesday, Donnie, hopefully. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Keel. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. And speak to you some of you on Wednesday. Otherwise, I'll be back next Sunday. Okay, lots of love. Bye.